Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the science and, well, the safety of a chemical that is highly likely sitting in your kitchen cabinets right this very second. We're talking about melamine. It's one of those materials that's incredibly common, yet largely misunderstood by most of us. You've probably heard whispers about it in the news, or maybe you've actively sought out alternatives. But what are the actual facts? Let's find out.
So, the big question, is melamine safe? To get to the real truth here, we need to separate the perfectly safe, intended uses of melamine from its hidden health hazards. It's not just a simple yes or no, but by the end of this explainer, you're going to know exactly how to handle this material safely in your own home.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with what exactly melamine is, figure out if it's actually plastic, look at its safety regarding children, tackle the major heat and acid problem, and finally deliver the final verdict. All right, let's jump right into Section 1. What exactly is melamine? First things first, melamine is fundamentally an industrial creation. It's a man-made high-nitrogen chemical primarily used to make industrial resins and glues. You might think some of your plates are made of natural materials. Actually, scratch that. Melamine does not occur naturally in the environment at all. It is entirely manufactured. When you look at its actual chemical structure, the thing that really stands out are all those N's. That stands for nitrogen. Melamine has a remarkably high nitrogen content, and as we'll see a bit later, this specific chemical trait is exactly what makes it so incredibly useful for manufacturers, but it's also what put it at the center of some major global food scandals. Seriously, check your cupboards in your home, because you will find this chemical absolutely everywhere. It's in those shatter-resistant plates, cups, and bowls, but it's also lurking in your kitchen countertops, the whiteboard in your home office, and even acting as a flame retardant in the polyurethane foam of your mattress and furniture. It is, quite literally, a staple of modern life.
Which brings us to Section 2.
Is it actually plastic? The short answer? Yes. Tableware marketed under names like Melaware is indeed a type of hard, durable plastic. It's created by molding melamine and formaldehyde together under really high heat to create a solid, shatter-resistant shape. While it might look and feel a bit like heavy ceramic or stoneware, it's way more lightweight, which is exactly why people love it for outdoor barbecues and kids' meals.
But here's where it gets a bit tricky, the eco-illusion. A lot of us buy products labeled as bamboo, assuming they're 100% natural, porous, plant-based composites. But many of these products are actually just bamboo ware, which means bamboo fibers are just mixed into a glossy, rigid melamine formaldehyde plastic base. Basically, if your eco-friendly bamboo cup feels cold, hard, and clinks like plastic, it's probably a melamine blend.
And that matters a lot. Material engineer Dr. Lim Wei-Xiang perfectly explains why. He notes that the microwave excites the water molecules in the bamboo filler, creating internal steam pressure that can microcrack the rigid melamine matrix, leading to rapid chemical migration. So, assuming a natural bamboo blend is unbreakable and microwave safe, yeah, that can lead to some seriously hidden chemical dangers.
Okay, moving on to Section 3, melamine safety and children.
The safety of melamine around kids is a massive priority for health experts, and the reality is pretty nuanced. The FDA does consider melamine dishes safe for serving food, but, and this is a big but, we have to acknowledge that children are inherently more vulnerable to chemical migration simply because their bodies are smaller and still developing. Health authorities keep a super close eye on this, mostly because of some really dark history. Remember that high nitrogen content we talked about? Well, in 2007, illegal contamination of North American pet food led to thousands of animal deaths. And then in 2008, bad actors actually adulterated infant formula with it to trick protein tests, which caused serious kidney issues and tragically 6 child fatalities. Today, agencies like Health Canada are still actively evaluating risks, especially regarding prolonged exposure in kids. Because beyond the kitchen, we're now looking at other hidden exposures. Kids spend hours every single day sleeping on polyurethane foam mattresses or strapped into infant car restraint systems and booster seats, many of which use melamine as a flame retardant. Authorities are closely studying whether this constant, low-level skin exposure to these textiles and foams is a long-term health concern. Now we hit Section 4, the climax of our investigation, the heat and acid problem. When it comes to chemical migration, the conditions of your food dictate the danger. If you're eating cold or room temperature foods, you're totally fine. The risk is extremely low. But introduce hot and acidic foods, think piping hot tomato soup or warm orange juice, and the risk jumps to moderate or high. And microwaving, that is a definitive dangerous red zone where the plastic actively breaks down. Lock this number into your memory, 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Exposing melamine to extreme temperatures of 160 degrees or higher significantly increases the amount of chemical that leaks out of the plastic and into your food. Extreme heat essentially unlocks the chemical bonds that were formed when the plastic was manufactured.
But hey, let's take a deep breath. While chemical migration sounds terrifying, FDA data actually serves as a really reassuring anchor here. Under normal, unheated use, the amount of melamine that leaks into food is 250 times lower than the level they consider toxic. So the plate itself isn't toxic. It's entirely about how you use it.
Which leads us nicely into Section 5, the final verdict. Look, melamine has some amazing pros. It's durable, reusable, lightweight, and incredibly shatter-resistant. But the risks are real if you misuse it. High or constant exposure is linked to kidney stones and kidney failure, and it's even labeled by international health groups as possibly carcinogenic to humans. So do a quick safety check in your kitchen today. If any of your melamine plates are scratched, cracked, or have those weird little heat blisters from the dishwasher, you need to replace them immediately. That physical damage breaks the protective seal of the plastic, which allows way more chemicals to leak into your food even without heat. Just throw them out. Here is your ultimate everyday takeaway for eating hot food safely. Number 1, always cook or heat your food in a glass or ceramic microwave-safe dish first. And number 2, once it's heated, then you can move that food over to your melamine dish for serving and eating. It's that simple. Serve on it, never cook on it. So, I have to ask, have you been unknowingly microwaving your melamine or bamboo-ware? Think about that reusable coffee-to-go cup on your desk, or those unbreakable plates you give the kids. How are you going to change your kitchen habits after watching this explainer? Melamine is a true marvel of industrial engineering, but it absolutely requires our respect to be used safely. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and stay curious.